Okay. All right. All right. So I wanted to start off, firstly, by saying what in the hell is going on? Uh, we went from no new foreign wars to make Iran great again, MIGA. But I will say this: I am not an expert. I just have my opinions. I just look at the calculus. I just see what's going on. I just listen to what everyone is saying about what's going on as well. I see people's reaction. I see how people are being played off against one another. I see that. I really do. I understand it. And it's funny to me that MAGA thinks that they own Trump. I called into Alex Jones' show today. Now, Alex Jones, we all know Alex Jones. Super aggressive, spontaneous, ball of thunder. The guy's been right so many times. I've been listening to him for years. He definitely is sensational, to say the least, right? And that's probably why he gets so much attention. He's extremely sensational. But I went on his show and I said what I said, and I didn't get a whole opportunity to get what I wanted to say out. And so you never do, especially because Alex Jones, he was like hosting like a 30 or 40-minute segment and show, and he was trying to get through a bunch of callers, which is fine. I totally understand. But the things that I was trying to bring up, he basically just shot him down. So I will let you listen to it. I'll let you hear what happened, what transpired. I will play back. But the call before my call was actually an important call as well. It was a very interesting call, and I don't agree with that caller on a lot of things too, because I think what people tend to do with Trump is they don't look at him. They look at him in a bipolar manner, right? They look at him as this is one side of it, this is the other side of it. There's two sides. And in fact, the reality of Trump is he's almost multi-dimensional. He's multifaceted. It's almost like looking into some kind of like, crystalline structure, or like the facets on a diamond. There's just so many different facets of it, because if you think about what Trump has been able to accomplish, people in MAGA look at Trump a certain way. People on the left look at Trump a certain way. People from Mexico look at Trump a certain way. People from China look at Trump a certain way. People from Canada look at Trump a certain. And these are all vastly different ways of viewing Trump. People from Russia look at Trump a certain way. People from the UK look at Trump a certain way. People from Australia. And so Trump isn't just playing off the left and the right in America. Trump is playing off all the different groups in the world, the West against the East, the Middle East versus the West. He's doing so many different things that I don't think people are understanding what the political calculations that Trump is taking are. So I'm going to play this segment. I'm going to play this video. I'm going to play what had happened and how how Alex Jones absolutely shot me down. Absolutely, just you'll hear what he said. It was hilarious to me, because I'm like, you don't even know what I'm talking about. Obviously, you don't know what I'm talking about. You're very like binary right now, and I understand that tends to happen. He's getting attacked for trying to be a preventionist against war, and the people who are attacking him, and the conversation at least is, no, this is good that Trump is doing this, and we should go to war, and we should get rid of Iran. Or it's just the other side. No, let's not go into nuclear war. And that is a binary way of thinking. And the one thing that I have observed about Trump is that Trump shatters binary paradigms, like absolutely shatters them, man. And it's like, why can't we start to see that pattern in everything that happens? He did it when it came to being a Republican, running as a Republican. The man was a Democrat for many years. He ran as a Republican and shattered the Republican structure because people couldn't handle where he was actually coming from. And I think his motives as a politician and as a president are far more complex. But I'll just play the clip and I'll let everyone who may be watching or who will watch decide what actually happened here. So here we go.
All right, thank you. Again, they've taken the money out. Now they must put it back in. That's what's happening. Let's go to Carlos in Canada. Let's go to Carlos in Canada. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Thank you, Alex. Well, we're about to enter the inevitable, which is World War III. I mean it. I'm serious about this. There are not very many choices left because, you see, Israel needs Iran destroyed. All that Iran has ever done is resist Israel's illegal occupation of Palestine. A nuclear Iran means Israel could not genocide Palestine away with impunity. World War III, therefore, is inevitable. Here's the deal, Alex. Either Israel ends the good damned occupation of Palestine, or we're going to be facing the major war in the Middle East that was promised to us a long time ago. Straightforward.
Well, you've been calling in for decades and a really smart guy. People know you are. You've been a guest, or geopolitical analyst, you name it. What do you make of my analysis the last hour and 44 minutes and what Trump has brought us into?
It's very accurate. President Trump, unfortunately, Americans spend a lot of money paying for, all sorts of consultants and secretaries and assistants. And then when it comes to making a decision, he just looks at it and says, okay, here, Jared Kushner, what do you think? Oh, I think you should do this. And then no one else matters. I mean, what the CIA, the 17 agencies say, what the IA say, what the international community, what advisors, what you say, what I say.
By the way, that's a key point, and that's on record. The vast majority of military and intelligence analysts tell Trump don't do this.
That's correct. But he doesn't care. Why?
Well, Newt Gingrich is telling him it'll make him look tough to Russia and China. If you study the psychology of those people, it'll make them line up even harder against us.
So when we all evaporate, he will be proven wrong or right. Who cares, right? We're at that stage, Alex. You don't make a crack of a joke about a country like Canada and expect all Canadians to say, "Oh, how funny." No. You draw these lines. You're the president.
And then that made the globalists that were totally unpopular win. Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I totally disagree with what this guy just said. It's like, I don't think there's any way Donald Trump thought that he could make a joke about Canada and everybody in Canada would just be so happy about it. And he wouldn't, the right-wing candidate wouldn't lose. I recall Trump talking about the right-wing candidate before that election in Canada, and he said, that guy said he can win the election without me. He's trying to distance himself from me. He's trying to say he's not like Trump. He's not like what we got going on in the United States. I don't care if he loses. That's what Trump said. So I don't think Trump was unaware that the guy that got in was going to get in. I think that Trump is... This is the thing. I don't think people understand Trump, dude. I think Trump is apolitical, amoral, a-religious. Like he doesn't care who he works with. All he cares about is, can I win against that person? And I think he knows that he can win against the globalists that they installed in Canada over having to deal with the right-wing guy. I think he's looking for the stability that he wants. So people assume that Trump wants the same result that they do. Like, people assume Trump wants Canada to have a right-wing, strong leader too, because that's what we want. We would love to have many different countries with their own independent leaders that do the right thing for their nations. Trump doesn't want that. Trump doesn't want that if he can't work with the person. If they're going to be difficult, if they're not going to go along with what he wants. I mean, so first of all, your calculus is wrong based on the psychology. You're assuming Trump wants what you want. What do you expect if you you say Canada's going to be the 51st state? You think they're going to like that? No, I don't think Trump's going to like that. That's why he said it. I don't think Canada's going to like that. That's why Trump said it. Because Trump doesn't care. he's going to get what he wants at the end of the day. He doesn't give a damn whether Canadians are happy with him. He knows for the most part they're not. But guess what Trump does know? When crisis strikes, they're going to come to him. That's what Trump knows. Continuing. So I say this because, and I'm talking about this first clip because the guy Carlos has called into Alex Jones' show for a decade, 2 decades. He's a very, very, very smart guy, but obviously you can hear the emotion in his voice about Gaza and the Palestinians and Iran and Canada and all this other stuff. And I understand that, dude. Trust me. I totally understand it. I'm not insensitive to those things. But when you are analyzing Trump, you cannot analyze him like any other politician that has come in the past. The only comparison I can make to a Trump is like an FDR, because that's the moment that we are in. So I'll shut up now and we'll continue.
Thank you, Alex. I'd love to talk to you, but it's 1 minute, and there are greater people than me want to talk to you.
All right, brother. Thank you, Carlos. Let's go to Black Rant in South Carolina. You're on the air. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, Alex. Thank you for having me on. I have a question about the Strait of Hormuz. Maybe you can answer that for me because I'm not as well-versed as you are. But I do have a different take before that for what President Trump is doing. And I'll start off by talking about the story of King Solomon in the Bible. And we all know the story. One woman had a baby. The other woman said the baby was hers. King Solomon said, I have a simple solution. Cut the baby in half, give you one half, give you the other half. It's a simple way of trying to figure out what things really mean to people. If the person really cares for the thing, they will jump in the way and risk their own lives to do it. Trump is using a 100 times, 1,000 times madman theory to isolate the United States from the rest of the world. Now, I'm not saying that he's perfect and he's whatever. But what I am saying is I see that there's a different strategy going on here, and that there's so many things going on in this great game that the only way for us to get to the future, like the Starlink, the AI, the whole shebang, is to preemptively pull the trigger on these things that are going to, A, give Trump more power, solidify him in his political office, B, bring forward the new technological advances that they've been talking about for years, and C, to decapitate some of his enemies that are really the real challenges and problems when we enter.
All right, listen, you got to get to the point because I got to get to everybody else. I'm
okay, I'm sorry.
I mean, it sounds more theoretical, pie in the sky. I mean, how does going to a giant war do that?
Well, so that's why I wanted to ask you about the Strait of Hormuz. Rubio said that the Strait of Hormuz, if it's blocked by Iran, is going to cause China all types of trouble as well. But if we have our energy cut off in the Strait of Hormuz, Trump will just activate war powers. I know this will take time. I'm not, some idiot, but I'm just saying it'll take time. But with the war powers, he can very quickly and rapidly start to do energy production here in the United States.
Well, we're already doing that. No, I hear you. That would make us move away from it. But in the midterm, it will crash the global economy and will accelerate inflation and kill his plan. I appreciate your call. Oh my God, man. People are just wishing and like bargaining with this. Like you learn you got cancer and you bargain with it. You really don't have it. I'm not mad at you, caller. I just hear like, straight up optimistic theories that just do not hold bearing on how the world works. Owl Killer in Virginia, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Alex, I love.
So there we go. There we have it. I personally don't think that was pie in the sky. I didn't actually get to articulate what I was trying to say. And he was saying, how does a giant war do all those things? I'm like, well, just look at FDR. Look at how a giant war brought about the new bureaucratic state of politics, bureaucratic power, the intelligence agencies that we have today after World War II. Think about how World War II solidified the dollar as the world's central currency. Think about how the World War II brought in the United Nations. Think about, and so this is what I'm trying to say. Do you think Trump is above working with globalists to achieve his aims? The midterms are in a year and a half. A year and 3 months or so, whatever. You don't think being a successful wartime president is going to gain favor? Now, so this is the thing. It's very key that all the Republicans running at the same time as the midterms next year are in lockstep with Trump. Because A, they will gain Trump's support. They will be incorporated into the finance machine of the new Republican Party that Trump has built. But additionally, Trump knows that they love war. He knows the military and industrial complex makes money. The stock market goes up. That's the Wall Street gain from what's going on. In Washington, D.C., you got to give a little to get a little. And Trump going to war, for example, when he killed Soleimani, we all freaked out. We all were like, oh my God, we don't want to go to war. I'm not saying this is the exact same situation. But we were like, oh my God, what's Trump doing? He's trying to start World War III. He took out one of the terrorist commanders. He spent a bunch of money on the military, which made the military industrial complex very happy. He didn't go as far as they wanted him to. But it killed two birds with one stone in Trump's world, in Trump's mind. Trump is in one of the most dangerous positions that a president has ever found themselves in half a century, probably. Like, the only other comparison that we have to at this point in time is Franklin Delano Roosevelt, because World War I was not comprehensive enough of a global change to say that the president at the time, Woodrow Wilson, was, engaged in some earth-shattering, world-changing events, right? World War I did not change the world as radically as World War II did. World War I was the tee-off and the setup for World War II. What Alex Jones just played is actually super important, and I 100% agree with. So I kind of want to go back to that, but I'm doing my rant right now. That guy actually that he just played is talking about how Israel in the Bible, the one that's promised, is not this governmental state body of Israel that's been set up by the British Empire 100 years ago. Like, I don't even know how people logically make that leap, that assumption. I don't even understand it. So especially if you read the Bible, it's pretty clear that at one point in time it was a physical location, but because the Jewish people kept not following what God was saying to them, it's like there was certain covenants that he was kept making with them, and they just kept going, yeah, we're gonna worship other gods and do other things. So yeah. So Jesus Christ was the next covenant, and if you are a believer in the Son of God, you are an Israelite. You are a Jew. I get it. That's what that guy was saying. So I believe that more than anything else. I think it's just asinine to sit here and say, let's say you believe in the Bible 100%, as I do. To say that a book that was written before, hundreds of years before, that was based upon events that took place thousands of years before us, is referring exactly to this geographical location where, their intelligence agencies, do all types of crazy stuff all around the world. They have corrupt politicians. They have all the same problems that America does. I mean, it's just, yes, this is what the Bible was talking about. Give me a freaking break. So, absolute nonsense. But getting back to my point about what I was trying to say with Alex Jones, what I was trying to say was, Trump has enemies, not just on the left. He has enemies on the right. He has enemies abroad. He has enemies in China. He has enemies in Russia. He has enemies. How do you get everybody to behave the way that you want them to? Well, you pull on their strings and you make them act in certain ways. The word is that Xi Jinping is being stripped of his power right now in China. Xi Jinping is desperate to hold on to his power. You would be too. Why not? Why is he falling from power? Well, because his gambit to put Joe Biden in office failed miserably because they wanted to follow that up with Kamala Harris, lost, Donald Trump got in and instituted the tariffs, and now the tariffs are killing the Chinese economy to such a point where they don't care about Xi Jinping's permanent presidency until the end of his life. They are about to kick him out now. So what does that make Xi Jinping do? That makes Xi Jinping want to come to the table because maybe if he can make a deal, he might be able to stay as president. Right? Rather than being, taken out back and shot like a dog. Okay? What is going on right now? And this is, I've seen this happen just 2 dozen, 3 dozen times with Trump. He will make whoever the audience is become divided. It's divide and conquer. Just what he's doing with the Republican Party. He is saying, and listen, if this was anybody but Trump, I would be like, this person's insane. But I think there's a calculus to it. He points to the Thomas Masseys, the libertarians of the party, and says, you're weak chumps that you don't want to do this. We're not trying to go into a forever war that we can't win. You're a weak chump. Get in line or get out the way. What does that do to the base, man? It doesn't give people a lot of places to go, but people all outside of MAGA also want to go to war with Iran. Neocons want to go to war with Iran. A lot of the hawkish Democrats want to go to war with Iran. A lot of Jewish people, Zionists, Israel people want to go to war with Iran. And so you're satisfying another part of your base that you may not have been able to touch. Yeah, you might be alienating the never war people, the peaceniks, but what are they going to do anyway? Because political power, as Mao said, comes out of the barrel of a gun. And so if you ain't got no ammunition as the peace party, then you ain't got nowhere to go. That's number one. So he's solidifying the base of the Republican Party. That's number one. Number two, if you are a wartime president and you are doing things effectively on the battlefield, not only does that, unfortunately, I hate to say this because this should not be the way that we're growing our economy, but it will grow the economy. This Trump in charge in a war footing will blow up the economy. It's just, how will the economy grow? Will it grow from the top down? Will it just make the rich richer? I mean, that's what Joe Biden, that's what the Democrats, that's what George W. Bush had been doing for such a long time. So it's no mystery there. But what it does is it gives Trump an opportunity. It gives Trump an opportunity to find out where the holes are in the loyalty. It also it's a crazy move. It's an absolutely insane move. But you're just making your enemies do what they were going to do anyway. And I mentioned this to people before. Why did Trump go to the Middle East and get all that support and all that money and all that funding and all that investment? He went there for that, but not just to do that. He went there to get the okays, the green lights, the check marks, the yeses from all of the leaders in the Middle East to go ahead and strike Iran. Because I think people are at the end of their ropes with what is going on with Iran. Qatar, Saudi Arabia, they're not really interested in what's going on with funding terrorism and, allowing that to happen very close to them. That affects them as well. It's not to say that they don't benefit from it sometimes, but it affects them as well. Now, the thing that's so scary about this is Israel becoming the dominant power in the Middle East and then basically becoming a power on par with the United States, becoming like the new British Empire, as it were, taking themselves to that level where it's like, wow, now that's basically a United States Israel government that has its footprint in 2 continents. That's a scary thought. That's a big, scary thought. But it's already apparent that so many different people don't really have a problem with the Iranian regime being taken down. The people in the nation don't necessarily like the regime. That's been well understood. People that live around Iran don't necessarily like the regime. And China is going to get screwed if the Strait of Hormuz is blocked, because that's the only real option that Iran has to make people suffer, to make people feel the pain of America's attack. Now, I'm sure Trump has thought about this. Tom Homan has mentioned it. Oh, we've got 2 million people that snuck into the country that we can't find. These Iranian terror cells that everybody's afraid of, and as they should be. These people are not, your run-of-the-mill goofball criminals. They're real, hardened, trained, smart, intelligent terror cells. I'm not saying that I'm not saying they're a joke, but what I'm saying is, if a terrorist attack happens now, you don't think Trump's just going to further solidify his power? You think he's somehow going to fall out of favor or something? Because if somebody blows themselves up at a supermarket or a mall or whatever, they're a Iranian terror cell, and they, happen to, unalive themselves via a bomb in a mall or something somewhere, you don't think the response from Trump is going to be equally as devastating to whomever was the root cause of that group? And you don't think that he's going to make that public? And you don't think that that's going to create the same kind of sentiment that happened in 9/11? That happened before with the Pearl Harbor? You don't think that's going to create the same kind of sentiment? So I'm saying this. If you're a king, if you're a leader, just like all the presidents that we've had before, it only helps you foment your status at home if you can successfully pull off combat war engagements somewhere else that bring home the booty. You understand? Trump said we should have never gone into Iraq. And if we did go into Iraq, we should have taken the oil. We didn't take the oil. Trump is saying if we have to do something, at least make it worth our while. So the way Trump is being surrounded, we know this. It doesn't matter if he has John Bolton directly in his administration or not. The neocons are in Washington. He doesn't know who to trust per se and who not to trust. Okay? And I didn't get to this point because I actually called into Alex Jones to talk about AI. I was going to talk about how Trump, if you recall, when in Trump's first presidency, he went to Saudi Arabia and they all touched that little globe, that little glowing orb ball, him and the Prince of Saudi Arabia and all, it's like they were all touching this orb ball and they were like, ooh, we can predict the future with it and all that other stuff. And it was like some AI hooked in massively computer system that could predict the future. I was going to talk about that because but somebody else said something and then I went off on a jag myself, as I tend to do. And I think about the political power aspects of the court dynamics. It's like just because this is Trump's second term doesn't mean it can't be derailed. And I don't think Trump is stupid enough to allow his agenda to be derailed by this. And so I get when I hear what Alex Jones is saying, he's 100% right. It's like, if you cannot get your economic agenda in place, you will lose the midterms, you will be impeached, so on and so forth. And maybe that's part of Trump's calculus as well. Maybe that's good for Trump too. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think he would like that. It's very messy. He's already been through it. Why do it again? But it's like we would just wind up in a real civil war for real at that point. I mean, it wouldn't be very good, but I don't think that is going to happen. And so whatever's going on, they have a plan for the Strait of Hormuz. Mark Rubio said it. He's like, we have a contingency plan for that as well. I mean, there's no way they would go into this and not consider, what if they block the Strait of Hormuz? I just, in my gut, have to, and I'm not trying to be pie in the sky. It's just, you've seen Trump come out of stuff so many times, and then you look back on it in hindsight, and you're like, damn, he must have known that was going to happen the whole time. And then you research it, and you're like, yeah, he did know it was going on the whole time. It just set him up for a bigger win. 2020 is the most obvious example of that. The man had his cyber command look into the election, and there were memos that went out that said we got to watch out for some rigging in this election. That note from General Nakasone went out in June of 2020. Trump had to have read it in June or July at the latest. So he knew something was going to happen like that. So when November comes around, December, January, he couldn't have been surprised. I mean, it's just, think about all the people who are around him during that time period of, stop the steal. It's like, where are those people now? Most of those people are long gone. They've been exposed as frauds. I just think Trump uses people, because it's like you stop and you think back and you're like, why did he have such goofy people around him at that time? Because he already knew game was up, the jig was up. Let me just pretend like I'm gonna fight it so I can get my base riled up and involved. I mean, it's a brilliant strategic political move. I mean, if we're gonna sit here, this is why I kind of got pissed off when Alex said it was pie in the sky, bro. It's like, my analysis is not pie in the sky. My analysis is based off of PNAC, is based off of the last 20 some odd years. It's not pie in the sky. It's like these people set up things, 10 moves in advance, and then we end up thinking that they're victories when they're really not victories for us. If you couldn't see a year ago that after Trump was in Butler, Pennsylvania, if you couldn't see after that point that man was going to win the election hands down, yeah, Kamala came in and she had some energy or whatever in the beginning, and they were really pumping her up full of money and all that. But I was like, people were like, oh my God, MAGA has to get serious. You can look back at my tweets. MAGA needs to get serious about this. Looks like Kamala really has some momentum. I said, dude, wait until August is over. Wait until September. It's easy to get people to come out to events in the summertime, especially when you act like, musical performers are going to be there. It's real easy to get big crowds to go to things in the summertime. Like, it's, let's see how big her crowds are when the fall comes and people got to go back to work and kids got to go back to school. And guess what? Her crowds dwindled in size. I just was like, what are we panicking about? This is perfect for Trump. This is what I was afraid of was if Michelle Obama got in the race and they could run her perfectly. If they could get Michelle Obama into the race running as president and they could run her perfectly and smoothly, that would have been a real problem. But they didn't. They made a mistake. They went with Kamala because the Democrats were so desperate and greedy for control. They wanted some idiot that they could tell what to do, when to do it, how to do it, period. And so if you couldn't tell that Trump was going to win after Butler, Pennsylvania, you can't pay. There's not enough money in the world you could pay to get those kinds of iconic footage, those kinds of iconic photos and shots. And so when people said, hey, I think Trump paid somebody to shoot at him or whatever, first of all, I thought, well, that's insane. But Trump is insane. I wouldn't think that anyone would want anybody shooting at their head, so I highly doubt that. But I don't think Trump, it's very hard for me to believe that Trump deliberately puts himself in harm's way. But then you see plenty of times the man puts himself in harm's way. I can't explain Butler. That's something we're gonna have to, couch that for a while. But what I'm trying to say is there's been plenty of times when Trump has gone out on a limb and it looks like he's risking life and limb, but all along the calculus is there. The knowledge of the next steps and the next phases is there. And this is why I wanted to talk about the AI. If you look at Trump, he's been cozying up to AI people so much lately. If you saw the recent news, they made lieutenant colonels out of people who work at OpenAI, people who work at Google, people who work at Meta. They made them lieutenant colonels in the Army. What would you need AI for in the Army? Automation, obviously, to automate menial tasks or to make things more precise or whatever. But we're also in that world of prediction. And AI is probably working in concert with predictive models to give the generals, the colonels, and to give intelligence to the president about what they think actually is going to transpire versus what they may have thought would transpire in the past. These AI are probably giving all sorts of different models. So if things look crazy, yeah, the AI could definitely be wrong, but I'm sure it's probably got a 99%, accuracy rate, and Trump probably goes off of those things when he makes his decisions. So AI probably says, yeah, you can strike Iran. The results will probably be, out of the 2 million people that got into this country, you'll probably have a total of 15, maybe, or 50, real possible threats of internal terror attacks. We can triangulate and find all those people. You might miss one or two, or you might be able to see those one or two and then, allow those to happen in a limited way. I'm sure they're thinking about all these different scenarios. I'm sure they're thinking about what's North Korea going to do? What's China going to do? What's Russia going to do? I'm sure I don't think these decisions are being made just haphazardly. I just don't believe that. I just believe Trump makes it look like that so that we don't trust him, so that we doubt him, so that we go, man, this guy is insane. So that when he actually accomplishes the goal, you're like, damn. And how many times has that happened with Trump? How many times has that happened with Trump? He has an opportunity to be one of the most important presidents in American history since George Washington. Trump is such an egomaniac. Do you think he's going to let that opportunity slip him by? I don't think so. So, I want to find that clip. I don't know if I can find it right now, but I want to find this clip where the guy talks about Israel, because I think that that's very true and very accurate. I don't trust the Palantir guys. I don't trust the AI guys. I don't trust the open AI guys. I don't trust all that AI stuff, man. That stuff makes me extremely nervous. You don't think I'm nervous about World War III, man? You think I'm just like, oh no, everything gonna be irie? Like, no, I'm like, come on, Alex Jones, come on, dude. I'm not sitting here just, oh, everything's fine. Trump's got it. Trust the plan. Like, I'm not some QAnon moron, okay? That shit is ridiculous. I'm not a QAnon idiot. I'm just giving you the other side of the fence where Trump is not playing. The man might be good in his intentions, but that man, you have to be able to carry out some of the most dastardly deeds ever to be president, okay? You think he's not willing to lie to his base? You don't think he's willing to deceive his base for 2 weeks to get something done? He deceives everybody all the time. He deceives the media. He deceives come on. Like, that's the name of the game. The way he got to this point was through deception. Forcing the left to underestimate him at every single step. Forcing the left to underestimate him by acting like a clown so that they would deliberately fall into the trap of underestimating him and just being so mad, pulling their hair out, TDS. That's how you get people to that point. It's like by frustrating the hell out of them. If they would have taken him seriously from day one, they wouldn't have been as frustrated. They would have understood what the threat was. But because he forced the media, he forced Hillary Clinton, he forced the Clinton machine, he forced the deep state to continuously put out this message that, oh, these people are just clowns. They're hicks from the backwoods. That's his base, a bunch of idiots. Trump is an idiot. He's never going to win. All that did was frustrate the left base. And then when he could not be taken out by lawfare and all these other things, it just frustrated and infuriated them more. But the left didn't change their tactics in the media. They didn't change their messaging. They didn't change any of that. So now it's the right's turn once again, because the right was confused with QAnon in 2020, 2021. We were very confused. We didn't know what the heck was going on. You forget that? Trump just basically disappeared and left everybody to just fend for themselves. We were like, damn. And I remember people were like, Trump betrayed us. But as soon as Trump comes out and makes the announcement, I'm going to run again. Oh, look at all those people. And it was a few months of people going, I don't know. I don't think I can trust Trump. Blah, 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 blah. Look, they're all on board again because they have to be. So Trump doesn't, he's not an idiot, man. He's not an idiot. Breaking his base like this over Iran is part of his strategy. Do you not see that? It's part of the strategy to get people arguing back and forth, to get the... He knows the mainstream media wants war. He knows he's going to get good coverage from the mainstream media over war. He knows Sean Hannity is going to slobber all over his knob because he's going to war. He knows Tucker Carlson's going to go against him. He knows the libertarians are going to go against him. Politics is so binary. So what do you do if you want to transcend the discussion? You get everybody arguing with each other and you just do what you're going to do anyway. And let the chips fall where you may. That's what he did with the immigration stuff. Oh, CNN's giving him bad press. Fox News is giving him good press. Oh, he's deporting people. Meanwhile, he gets sued a bunch of times. In the court cases, they say you can't deport. And then he has them fight out in court, but he already deported most of the people he wanted to deport. Okay, let's keep going. I'm going to send the National Guard to L.A. Gavin Newsom sues him. Federal judge puts a stay on that and says, hey, I don't know. Guess what? In the meantime, while you're arguing whether or not he should have sent troops into LA, the riots have been squashed because a real leader, a smart person, also understands that if we have intelligence that things are heating up in the Middle East, Israel's trying to go after Iran, this is going on, that's going on, and the left is trying to create a fake civil war in the United States because their funding from USAID is getting cut off, because their funding to Ukraine is being cut off. What are you gonna? Oh, send in the Marines. Nip that in the bud. Bring people in, arrest people, arrest Antifa, arrest the left-wing domestic terrorists. Take care of it right now. Forget about the politics of the thing. We'll let the politics play itself out. Trump is in a position where if you win, the politics will sort itself out. Who else acted like that? FDR acted like that. I'm not saying FDR was some great, magnificent person. I don't think he was. But what I'm saying is the last time you had a true dictator president of the United States who got whatever the hell they wanted for the most part, was able to set the tone and create and remake America in their own image because they were so politically savvy. They played one side off against the other side while they moved straight forward toward their objectives. The problem is people keep thinking about Trump like he's an American president. They keep thinking about him like he's a Republican president. Those are just terms. Those are just names. Those are just things that he's called. In reality, if you go and take a poll of people all around the world, Trump is more like the president of the world. You have so many people around the world that are like, yeah, Trump, I like Trump. I like Trump. Yeah, I watch videos all the time with people in China or in Africa or South America or in East Asia or in the Middle East or Central Asia. Yeah, Trump, okay with me. You know, it's like... dumbing it down, keeping it simple, and then getting it done and doing things in a way that other U.S. presidents in the past have danced around. Trump has broken the mold of politics because he never played their game of rhetoric. He never played their game of trying to satisfy this group over that group. I mean, just the example of him breaking political rhetoric, getting rid of politically correct speech. He's the only one that can still do it at this point, and he does it less and less and less. He just does it more so through his actions than ever before. But he has done that. And if people can't realize that, like, dude, we're not dealing with Obama right now. We're not dealing with Biden right now. We're not dealing with Bush right now. We're not dealing with Clinton right now. We are dealing with Trump. And so, yes, this is an extremely dangerous time. I agree with you, Alex Jones. This is extremely dangerous. People are about to get killed. I actually believe that they already have estimated that tens of millions of people in the next few years are going to die. Do I like that? No. But am I smart enough to know, okay, if that's what's coming, why don't we prepare for that instead of like whining and trying to get somebody who's not going to listen to us? Like, I don't think Trump's going to listen to you just because we're like, oh, we don't want war. The man knows, and I think he truly believes that to solidify his presidency, he either has to end World War III or he has to win World War III. Those are the two options. So he knows that the world's already been pushed to the edge. We've all been watching it. So for him to make this promise like it's never going to happen just boxes him into a political corner. Now, I'm sure he doesn't want to start World War III. But I'm sure he's been given all the information that if we did, we could rapidly mobilize technology that's been hidden from view. The Chinese, the Russians would activate their technology that's been hidden from view. I mean, tens of millions of people would die. It would be absolutely just tragic. But I'm just like, think about the decisions that this man has to make. Think about if you were given if somebody came up to you, some general, and said, listen, there is a 90% chance of war, period. Doesn't matter if you do this or you don't do this. But if you do this, after the war begins, over the next 6 months, your chance of winning increases and their chance of winning goes down to 20%. If you do this now, if somebody gives you that scenario, what are you going to do? You're going to say, no, I'm not going to do anything, in the chance that we don't go to war. If somebody says war is a 90% certainty, yes, there's a 10% chance we won't go to war. But if you don't do this now, when the war starts, we'll be on even footing. And I can't calculate who's going to win the war past 2 years. Past 2 years, it's anybody's game. But if you strike now, if you do this now, we have a 90% chance of war. And then 6 months out from now, the enemy's chance of winning goes down to 20%. And ours goes up to 80%. Would you do it? I think you would do it. It's a crazy tough decision. But if somebody tells you, if you do that, 5 million people will die as opposed to 100 million people will die, would you do it? These are the decisions I think a president actually has to make. Not just, ooh, do I look at my base and try to appease my base and say, let's not go to war? The globalists, the military-industrial complex, your political career, the livelihood of your nation. Let's just face it. If Trump doesn't do certain things, he's not going to get what he wants on trade. If Trump doesn't do certain things, he's not going to get the big, beautiful bill passed through. Like, Trump's whole persona is built upon strength and getting things done. And he has the intelligence to do it. Just kind of like a natural intuition of how to bend and manipulate people. So I just think it's just naive, really, and pie in the sky to think Trump is such a nice guy. Maybe I'll go talk to him or get a message to him and he won't do what the neocons want him to do. You think he's so fucking dumb that at this point in his second presidency, he's letting neocons tell him what to do? Or do you think that partially he gave himself into this situation because he knows he's going to benefit from it? Like, the man's all about winning. Launching a war that we can't win is not in his psyche. That's not in his psychological makeup. So can he be wrong that we won't win? Sure, he can be wrong. We can not win. But I don't think he's come this far to lose. I really don't believe that, man. And I don't think he's like so insane that he wants, he's willing to win at the cost of, humanity's survival. I don't think that's where Trump is either. But I think he's just such a crazy person, a psychotic winning machine like Michael Jordan of politics. The Michael Jordan of politics is Donald Trump. He wants to win so bad that he doesn't care if he has to lie to his supporters. All politicians do that, but he's doing it in a way that bends the narrative in the direction that he wants to go. And so that's how I see it. That's how I see the calculus. It's like if you have wartime powers, like, yeah, we're already in military wartime powers, like Alex Jones said. How many people know that, Alex? How many people are aware of that, dude? You still got the majority of the politically aware demographic that watches Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN. Most young people don't watch politics like that, and they're not like well versed in it. I mean, there's more and more every day as we get older, but I'm one of the freaky people who started watching and getting interested in politics when I was like 15. Not most people are not like that, and if they are like that, they're in politics, working in politics. I didn't make that decision myself, so that's where we are. But the only way for people to know that there's wartime powers activated and appreciate that and accept it is to actually solidify for people that there is danger, there are bombs going off, there are guns being fired somewhere. That will get the American people into motion, in mobilization very quickly. But they must be made aware of it, and that's how you do it, through Fox News. Let's make them aware of these emergency powers that I have as president to quickly mobilize the economy, the workforce, the manufacturing. Let's use these wartime powers that I've been already making an excuse for to deport all these illegal aliens and get all these illegal invaders out of here. They've already been building up for it, but how do you actually solidify it? And then we've been talking about this for so long. The smart people among us don't even believe that World War III will be fought in a kinetic fashion. We know it's going to be cyber war. We know it's going to be bio warfare. We know it's going to be psychological warfare. It's going to devastate the planet. It's already happening. COVID already was the first opening salvo in this war. So, I mean, to sit here and say that we need to prevent this, I'm like, can we prevent nuclear annihilation? Sure, that's something. Okay, if you want to talk about that, sure. But I think that's the point of taking out Iran, because Iran is the only other place other than Pakistan, but Iran is the only place that has nuclear weapons that Trump does not have a form of communication into. As you can see, Trump already just talked to Pakistan and India. Trump knows Kim Jong-un in North Korea. So if Trump says, hey, man, listen, chill, I think Kim Jong-un will listen. They've already had a conversation. Who are the only people on the planet Earth with nuclear weapons who Trump cannot talk to directly? Do we think maybe that's why he's doing what he's doing now? Like, I mean, this is what I'm saying, dude. It's just like, I don't think China wants to use nuclear weapons. I don't think Russia wants to use nuclear weapons. I don't even think North Korea wants to use nuclear weapons. I think most of the nations of the world that have nuclear weapons do not want to use their nuclear weapons. They're supposed to be a deterrent, and I think most people are on that page. Yes, do you have the crazies in some of these administrations? Absolutely. But I think for the most part, if those people were firmly in charge and in the majority, we'd already all be blown off the map. Already, because what does the news matter? What does media matter? What does marketing matter? What does rhetoric matter if you're just going to blow everything up? I think most people aren't for that because they understand the consequences of that. The only outlier is Iran. And so that's why I think this is being pinpointed. That's why I think this is being targeted. So, no, I'm not living in a fantasy land, Alex. I'm not pie in the fucking sky, dude. It's like, I get that he was just taking calls back to back to back real fast, and people have tended to be very you got Laura Loomers on X who are just like, everything Trump does is amazing. He's the best president of all time. Oh my God. Everything he does is fantastic. He's got to support Israel and no matter what. And yeah, you've got those crazies, those Mark Levins who just are like, so what? Screw it. Let's go to war. I get it, dude. I'm not saying that. I am not saying that. I'm just saying I think Trump's a little bit smarter than to let those people influence him so heavily. he has to understand that his agenda can't go through if things fail. So I think he makes the best decision based upon how successful it's going to be. I don't think he wants to lose. Like, that's it, man. That's all I keep trying to say. I don't think Trump. I called into Alex Jones in January of 2021, and yes, I was very hopeful and optimistic, and I was very I was trying to speak a positivity into what I was saying, and I was like, man, I could see Trump standing in the Oval Office again. I could see him winning, and I did see that. And here we are in 2025, and he's in the White House. So, yeah, you're not the only one with psychic abilities, Alex Jones. Some other people have insights as well. They're just not, on a timeline, like, all the time, It's like, so, I saw Trump winning. I know he's going to win. He wants to win. And if he doesn't win, well, we're all dead anyway. So I'm just kind of like, that is what I've been saying to people forever. Trump forces you to go along with him because if you don't, you're going to die anyway. Now, am I afraid that maybe Trump is the Antichrist or AI is going to take over? I mean, listen, it's like, I hope not. But that is Trump's political tactic, dude. He drags you kicking or screaming with him in the direction he wants to go. And so it's like, it's not prudent to make yourself get Trump derangement syndrome and stress out about those things. It's smarter to think about it in a transcendental manner, to go, wait a second, here's the dichotomy, here's the paradigm. Let me think about it the way Trump might be thinking about it. Because the only way to succeed when there's a blockage of two ideas is to transcend those ideas and go a level above. Albert Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same result. It's like we vote for presidents, we vote for politicians, we vote people into office, and then they just keep doing the same thing because they get sucked into the dichotomy paradigm. Abortion, no abortion. War, no war. Gun rights, no gun rights. Like, we just get sucked into the yay, nay category. And what Trump is doing is saying yay and nay. That's what Trump does. And that's why people can't figure him out. That's why they're confused. But when he does that, he gets to win because he understands the motives of the people on that side and he understands the motives on the people on that side. Oh, these people want that. Oh, these people want that. Well, let me think about it. What do I do that's going to help me win, where I can draw in them based upon their desires and their wants and draw these people in based upon their desires and their wants, and then at the same time, it just all boosts me up? I mean, shit, man, that's what Pachinik said years ago. You say whatever you want about me, just get my name right. There was a solid time for 4 years where Trump was the only thing people talked about, period. How do you do that? You can't care about whether people say good things about you, bad things about you. He doesn't care. He doesn't care whether people like him, don't like him. I think he gets upset with people when they don't want to help him win. I think that's his beef with Thomas Massie, because he's like, why can't this asshole see that I'm trying to win? I don't think Thomas Massie's being an asshole. I think he's being true to his beliefs. But Trump lives in a world where he's like, man, people can be bought off. People can be maneuvered. People can be manipulated. People can be, why can't this person? He gets really frustrated about people who stick to their guns over their belief systems and are a real bulwark to him progressing. He really does. That's the thing I think he gets upset about. But you don't see him getting upset about, well, I don't think AOC actually has these beliefs. But I don't think you don't see him getting upset about I don't think Bernie Sanders really has those beliefs either. But I'm trying to think about somebody on the left who's really believes what they're saying. I don't think that they do. I think that they just repeat slogans that they were told, resonate. So, but I don't know. But people on the right really do believe in what they believe in: small government, freedom, libertarianism, and that irritates him to no end. The reason why Trump discards the Libertarian Party is because they can't win. They can't do anything. I understand what he's talking about now. It's like we're just going back and forth, discussing and arguing with ourselves. If we do that, we lose traction, and then guess what? The other side wins. And in Trump's calculus, it's all about winning. So to me, Alex Jones is freaking out about something that I don't think Trump is even considering, dude. You think Trump is truly considering making a move that's going to lose the midterms and tank his whole agenda? Like, give me a fucking break, dude. Are you high? Like, you really think Trump is like, yeah, I'm going to do this, and I think that's going to have no effect on my agenda. It's like, are you insane, dude? Like, come on, man. Come on, like, you're the one who's fucking high, man. You're the one who needs to get with the... Come on, dog. Like, give me a break. You've been watching Trump for this long, and you think he doesn't think 10 moves ahead? You don't think he's thinking about this? Just because you don't see him thinking 10 moves ahead, just because when you talk to him, he sounds very in the moment, or, oh, I didn't know about that. How do you know he's not fucking lying, man? How do you know? Like, you know, it's like Roger Stone's pretty quiet right now. I don't know what he's saying to you, but he's pretty quiet because he understands. I've seen Trump win too many times to go against him on something like this. I don't think you're convincing anybody. Talk to your audience. Talk to the people. Say, okay, yeah, you know, we don't want to go to war. Make sure people know that and understand that. I think that's important. I think that's smart. But don't sit here and act like because I'm trying to say, listen, the man is obviously playing so many different elements in the world off of, like, around each other and off against each other all at the same time. He's talking to Pakistan and India at the same time he's dealing with Iran. We're hyper-focused on Iran. I think Trump's moved on to something else and said, hey, let me know what develops there. We'll see. That man has got 15 plates spinning right now, and you're only focused on one of them. And you're like, oh, it's wobbling, it's wobbling. It's like he's spinning the other 14 plates, is he not? Like, come on, man. I'm like, and maybe Alex Jones is just pretending like he doesn't understand that. Maybe he's really freaked out about World War III. I'm freaked out about World War III, but it's like I have no influence on whether it happens or not, and neither does Alex Jones. He thinks he does, but I don't think he does. He has no influence on that whatsoever. I mean, keep doing he's going to keep doing it regardless. He's going to deliver his remarks to Trump. He's going to tell Trump his opinion. I do it. I mean, that's fine. Stick to your guns. Stick to your morals. But I think understanding that Trump doesn't operate that way and has made it much further in life than all of us, I would say, might give some credence to maybe he knows what he's doing. And then people are so quick to go, oh, this person's a traitor. I'm not calling Alex Jones a traitor at all. I think Alex Jones is a really good guy who's doing what he thinks needs to be done. I did get a little fucking insulted because it's just like, you did. First of all, you listened to 20 seconds of what I was saying, but okay. But these people aren't dumb. I've never seen so much success in an administration in this short of a period of time, even though some of the plans and some of their goals and objectives have, they've wobbled here, wobbled there, stopped there, stopped. I feel like everything's been happening almost flawlessly, which means he had a lot of time to think about this while he was in Mar-a-Lago watching Joe Biden tear the world up. So I'm just going to wait and see. Yeah, do I want to go into war with Iran? No. Do I like the fact that, maybe we'll have higher energy? Hell no. Stuff as tough as it is right now. You think I'm just going to sit here and smoke opium to make myself feel better? No, I'm just trying to give you another viewpoint because we're the conservatives, we're the Republicans, we're the libertarians that like to debate, right? So I'm giving you another viewpoint about how maybe Trump sees this from a different angle than we do, of just war, no war, nuclear war, no nuclear war. I mean, he talks to Putin. He talks to these people on the phone. I've never had a conversation with Putin. Pooty Poot. I've never had a conversation with him. So, I don't know. I've never seen the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia allow somebody to touch him, be that close. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe something else is going on here. Let's just think about that. It's like maybe something else is going on here that we may not quite understand. And I'm not saying that Trump is God or Jesus or some amazing. What I'm saying is Alex Jones himself has talked about all the weapons and all the technology that's far advanced. And every time I think about Trump, I think about that movie Tenet. If you haven't seen Tenet, it's that Christopher Nolan movie where Christopher Nolan is, Denzel Washington's son is in it, and they have time machines that basically take them back and forth through time, but it's not the way like a traditional thing. It's like a very, grounded idea of time travel. Donald Trump always talks about his Uncle Fred. He always talks about how he was a really smart guy and involved in the nuclear physics. And he also happened to be the same person who got a hold of Nikola Tesla's notes and had to archive them. Yeah, and then all of a sudden this guy's nephew becomes president at the most crucial time of AI technological advances and all that. And he's just going to throw it away because he likes to throw bombs at people and go, big bomb, boom. Yeah, I think it's a little bit more complicated than that, buddy. So before you call me a pie in the sky, I'm thinking about what might actually be going on here instead of trying to debate a political football over whether it's right or wrong what the man is doing. He's gonna do it. Let's talk about what it means or what might actually come from it. Ridiculous. Anyway, that's my stream. That's my talk. I'll play the other thing in the other video about Israel. I have another video scheduled and planned, but I'm going to talk about that later. But yeah, stay tuned. We'll keep going. And I love you, Alex Jones. I love you. I'm just sure I'm sure your employees get just as irritated with you. I'm sure everybody. You're very quick to react, and so it's like I'm on the phone, man, for 20 seconds. But I don't know a damn thing about. I don't know the way the world works. Okay, right. I don't think you're wrong. Just irritated that you just didn't even let me say. I got it. You got to move on. But I just, I'm not one of these idiots out here who just is QAnon. I told all my QAnon friends when that was going on. I was like, bro, don't buy into this, bro. I told all them people, I'm like, don't go up in that building. Don't go. Are you kidding me? I felt the touch of God talk to me. That, bro, don't even get me started. All right. Talk to you later. See ya. Thank